1995 Elizabeth II to new Pence coin in fine condition. We reach the 1995 issue, a coin that perfectly exemplifies the steady evolution of UK coinage in the mid-1990s, often passed over by casual observers. The 1995 to P coin holds a quiet importance in the overall story of British decimal currency. It reflects stability, refined design, and production consistency, while offering collectors yet another vital puzzle piece in the complete portrait of this denomination's progression. By 1995, the copper-plated steel composition, introduced in 1992, had become the norm. This material change, while invisible to most users, fundamentally altered the way these coins behaved physically. The 1995 coin weighs 7.12 grams and has a diameter of 25.91 millimeters, identical to its bronze predecessors, but it is ferromagnetic, meaning it will attract a magnet due to its steel core. This made it more cost-effective for the Royal Mint to produce, while helping preserve the same appearance and function that the public had come to expect. On the obverse is the same familiar and refined portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Makhlouf. This third definitive portrait shows the Queen facing right, adorned with the George IV state diadem, a regal crown of pearls and diamonds traditionally worn during the state opening of Parliament. The portrait is surrounded by the inscription Elizabeth to D. G. Reg. F. D. 1995, short for Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor *, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Makhlouf's effigy of the Queen is known for its stately and sculptural elegance, with fine details in the hair, facial features, and diadem, even in fine condition. Many of these artistic elements remain discernible. The reverse design, again by Christopher Ironside, retains the iconic imagery of the Prince of Wales's badge, 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, bound by a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich diene, which means I serve. The inscription to Pence is located above the emblem, replacing the earlier new Pence legend used prior to 1982. The number 2 appears at the bottom of the reverse design, completing the denomination. The overall symmetry and symbolism of this design continue to make it one of the most enduring and recognizable coin backs in modern British history. Mintage figures for the 1995 to P coin were relatively robust. Over 150 million pieces were minted for general circulation, indicating continued high demand for low-denomination coins in everyday commerce. While this large mintage implies commonality, it's worth noting that many of these coins have suffered from wear, corrosion, and loss due to their age and steel composition. As such, coins in genuinely fine condition, those with even wear, minimal surface damage, and clear details have become increasingly valued by collectors, building full-year sets or focusing on the Makhlouf portrait era. Proof versions from the 1995 United Kingdom proof coin set are especially prized, showcasing deep mirrored fields and frosted designs. These can range from £5 to £10 depending on quality and packaging. One interesting facet of the 1995 coin is its relative scarcity in pristine condition, owing largely to the surface vulnerability of the steel core. Unlike bronze coins, which resist corrosion better over decades, copper-plated steel is more likely to degrade, especially in damp storage or high humidity conditions. Therefore, examples with clean, rust-free surfaces and full edge definition are becoming increasingly collectible. While the 1995 issue does not have widely recognized mint errors or die varieties on record, collectors have reported occasional anomalies, such as partial color strikes, filled dies which obscure parts of the design, and off-center impressions. These errors, though few, can significantly boost a coin's value, especially when authenticated. A sharply struck example with a visible doubling in the 2 or Queen's diadem, for instance, can sell for £10 or more to the right collector. From a visual standpoint, Makhlouf's portrait continued to dominate the obverse through 1997, but by 1995, anticipation was already building among numismatists for a new definitive effigy. This historical context gives the 1995 coin a unique place in the timeline. It's one of the last coins to feature Makhlouf's elegant and widely appreciated artwork, adding sentimental and aesthetic value for collectors who view the Makhlouf portrait as a high point in royal coinage design. Another notable aspect of the 1995 coin is its general role in educating the next generation of collectors. Because of its availability, it serves as an excellent teaching tool in identifying coin materials, portraits, and reverse symbolism. It's also widely included in school-based coin sets, starter kits, and public exhibitions that aim to promote the hobby of numismatics. Those looking to grade or assess this coin should pay attention to specific highwear areas, such as the Queen's cheek, diadem details, and the intricate ribbon on the reverse. In fine condition, the Queen's hair should still have depth, the feathers of the Prince of Wales badge should retain their lines, and the inscription should be free from flattening or smearing. Light brown or even golden-orange patinas are common, and while some spotting may be present, coins free of major scratches or corrosion are considered solid additions to any serious decimal collection. As part of the broader historical story, the 1995 2p coin represents the UK in a time of social and economic transition. The country was in the midst of a shift toward modernization and globalization, and the coinage of the time reflected that consistent, practical, yet still deeply rooted in national symbols and traditions. This makes the coin a compelling artifact of its time, more than just a token of commerce. In summary, the 1995 Elizabeth II to new pence coin may not carry the shock factor of a rare error or ultra-low mintage year, but its enduring beauty, refined detail, and contextual importance give it long-term numismatic appeal. It is a coin that belongs in every comprehensive collection, a piece of the quiet but powerful numismatic narrative of the 1990s. And if you're collecting the full decimal 2p series, this is not a coin you should skip. It anchors the mid-decade entries and ensures you've captured the essence of a crucial period in British coinage. Next, we move to the 1996 Elizabeth II to new pence coin, another Makhlouf portrait issue with its own nuances and features that collectors continue to seek. 1996 Elizabeth II to new pence coin in fine condition. As we explore deeper into the 1990s, a decade of refinement and quiet significance in British numismatics, we come to the 1996 Elizabeth II to new pence coin, a piece that continues the evolution of one of the UK's most iconic denominations. Although it may not appear revolutionary at first glance, the 1996 2p coin is an essential member of the decimal coin family, marked by its stability, consistency, and understated beauty. It is the final full-year issue to feature the Raphael Makhlouf portrait on the obverse, making it a poignant bookend in the Queen's mid-reign effigy series. The 1996 to new pence coin is struck in copper-plated stela composition standard since 1992, designed to cut production costs while maintaining the coin's classic reddish-brown aesthetic. With a weight of 7.12 grams and a diameter of 25.91 millimeters, it mirrors earlier 2p coins in dimension, but differs in its core metal, which is magnetic and more susceptible to corrosion. This change didn't affect its day-to-day function in circulation, but it did pose long-term challenges for collectors. These coins, if not stored properly, are more prone to rust and surface damage. That makes well-preserved examples, especially those in fine condition, increasingly important to maintain and seek out. The obverse side features the Raphael Makhlouf effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, introduced in 1985 and used through 1997. This design presents the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, looking composed and dignified, with delicate curls in her hair and defined features that project immature elegance. Around the rim of the coin is the Latin inscription, Elizabeth to DGREGFD. 1996, it's a simple, traditional declaration of the Queen's role as sovereign and defender of the faith. By 1996, this portrait had become a familiar sight to the British public, so much so that its eventual replacement in 1998 sparked both excitement and nostalgia among collectors. The reverse remains unchanged, retaining the timeless design by Christopher Ironside that was first introduced in 1971. The Prince of Wales's badge, featuring 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, is displayed prominently in the center. The German motto Ich diene, meaning I serve, is wrapped in a ribbon around the feathers. This design speaks to the coin's symbolic weight, connecting the monarchy with national service and heritage. The denomination to pence is spelled out clearly at the top, a practice continued since 1982, and the large numeral 2 sits at the bottom, completing the composition. With a mintage of approximately 305 million coins, the 1996 2p issue was circulated widely, yet remains highly collectible due to the increasingly difficult task of finding examples in fine condition. Many were subject to harsh use in commerce, resulting in surface abrasions, edge nicks, and environmental corrosion. Those coins that survive today, with intact beading, full legends, and moderate wear, command a modest premium. In today's market, a circulated 1996 to P coin in fine condition generally sells between 20 pence and 60 pence. However, when found in uncirculated condition, or as part of the Royal Mint's annual mint or proof sets, values can range from £2 to £6, depending on packaging and strike quality. What makes the 1996 coin more intriguing is its status as the second to last regular issue to bear Makhlouf's portrait. While 1997 also featured his design, 1996 is notable for its clean, uniform mintage and its consistency in strike quality. The portrait itself was already under scrutiny by collectors and artists by the mid-90s for its perceived overly stylized finish, yet many came to appreciate it over time as a representation of a confident and graceful monarch. This coin captures the final stretch of that visual era and is thus a critical piece in any Makhlouf-themed collection. Unlike earlier coins, the 1996 issue does not have any major reported mint errors in widespread circulation. However, sharp-eyed collectors have occasionally spotted anomalies such as die breaks near the Queen's neckline, weak strikes on the lettering, or minute doubling in the feather details. These varieties, while not well documented in major catalogs, are increasingly sought after by specialists who focus on decimal error coins. Coins with unique variations in die polishing or minor rotational misalignments have been sold for as much as £10 to £15 in online auctions. For condition assessment, collectors looking for fine examples should focus on key high points, the Queen's cheek and diadem, the texture of the feathers on the reverse, and the clarity of the 2p inscription. Light even wear is acceptable in fine condition, but heavy corrosion or color distortion from environmental exposure will diminish value significantly. A coin with intact surfaces, minimal scratching, and sharp rim beating represents a strong acquisition. One interesting feature collectors sometimes test is magnetism. As the 1996 coin is copper-plated steel, it will attract a magneton like its pre-199 to bronze cousins. This feature alone makes it a useful educational tool when demonstrating the composition shift in British decimal coins. For newer collectors, the 1996 coin presents an ideal entry point. It's common enough to find without difficulty, but rare enough in pristine or fine condition to feel like a real find. It bridges multiple important narratives in numismatics, the material evolution of UK coinage, the concluding chapter of a definitive royal portrait, and the continued use of a beloved national reverse design. And, because it isn't burdened by error fame or ultra-low mintage status, it remains affordable and accessible yet significant. The 1996 Elizabeth II to new pence coin is a prime example of how value in numismatics isn't always about rarity. Sometimes, it's about placement, how a coin fits into the larger story of its time. In this case, 1996 sits at the twilight of a design era, encapsulating over a decade of Makhlouf's influence and the quiet dignity of a monarch at mid-reign. For collectors building a portrait series, a composition-type set, or simply a full run of 2p coins by year, the 1996 issue cannot be skipped. It is a marker of continuity, a product of stability, and an artifact of a time when design, tradition, and function existed in perfect balance. 1997 Elizabeth II to new pence coin in fine condition. As we arrive at the 1997 Elizabeth II to new pence coin, we step into a moment of quiet finality in the world of British decimal coinage. This coin represents the end of an era, specifically the final year the Raphael Makhlouf portrait of Queen Elizabeth II appeared on UK coinage, before it was replaced by the Ian Rank Broadley effigy in 1998. Though millions of 1997 2p coins were minted for circulation, the year holds deep symbolic and collector value. It is both a tribute and farewell to a portrait that had graced British coins for over a decade and marks a closing chapter in the classic design continuity that began in the 1980s. The 1997 2p coin was struck in copper-plated steel, following the material transition that began in 1992. Like its immediate predecessors, it weighs 7.12 grams and has a diameter of 25.91 millimeters. Its steel core is magnetic, and its copper coating gives the coin its traditional reddish tone. These coins were minted for durability and efficiency, but they also came with long-term preservation challenges. Their susceptibility to corrosion and edge wear makes finding a well-preserved coin from this year a rewarding experience for any collector. The obverse features Raphael Makhlouf celebrated third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This image, introduced in 1985, shows Her Majesty in profile facing right, wearing the George IV state diadem. Makhlouf's work was initially praised for its regal elegance and idealized style. Over time, as newer, more realistic portraits were introduced, this design gained even greater appreciation for its artistic beauty and nostalgic aura. The Queen's hair, crown, and neckline are richly detailed, with a sculptural smoothness that continues to impress even on worn coins. The surrounding inscription reads Elizabeth to DGREGFD, 1997. This combination of refined modeling and traditional phrasing makes the obverse a poignant final salute to the Makhlouf era. The reverse of the coin remains unchanged in design, carrying Christopher Ironside's timeless motif. At its center, the badge of the Prince of Wales, a coronet of 3 ostrich feathers, sits proudly, bound by a ribbon displaying the German motto Ich dir. The inscription to Pence arches above the badge, while a large numeral to grounds the design below. Ironside's composition balances history, heraldry, and clarity. By 1997, it had already become an icon, familiar to generations and consistent through decades of change. Its unaltered presentation on the 1997 issue makes this coin one of the final and purest representations of the 20th century decimal aesthetic. The mintage for the 1997 2p coin was significant, with over 200 million coins produced for general circulation. Despite this large number, finding coins in fine condition is growing more difficult as these coins age. Those kept in circulation often exhibit edge dings, rim fading, or discoloration due to the steel core sensitivity to the elements. In fine condition, where moderate wear is present, but all design elements remain clear and fully legible, the coin typically sells for 25 pence to 75 pence. In uncirculated condition, values rise to between £2 and £5, especially for those found in annual Royal Mint packs. The 1997 coin was also included in some final Makhlouf era sets, making it a desirable year for collectors completing portrait or decade-themed collections. This year is particularly valuable in thematic collections. For those collecting coins by portrait series, the 1997 issue marks the final chapter in the Makhlouf series, tying together all coins from 1985 to 1997. It's also the last coin to carry the definitive Makhlouf image before Ian Rank Broadley's more realistic and subdued portrait replaced it. As such, this coin becomes more than just a piece of currency. It becomes a historical bridge between two distinct visual interpretations of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. From a collector's standpoint, the 1997 coin offers a powerful sense of closure. It reflects a Britain that was approaching the turn of the millennium, still rooted in tradition, yet standing at the edge of rapid change. As the last coin before the Royal Mint introduced new monarchic artwork, this piece is often seen as the punctuation mark at the end of a long and elegant sentence. While no major mint errors or varieties are widely known for this year's issue, small die wear signs, planchette flaws, or weak strikes occasionally surface. Coins with unusually strong feather detail, sharp text, or mirror-like surfaces from uncirculated rolls can fetch higher premiums among experienced collectors. It's also worth noting that due to the transition to steel, many coins from the mid-1990s exhibit color shifts or edge spotting. Collectors prize examples where the copper plating is even, free of blotching or rust, and where the reverse motif remains crisp. The coin's educational and historical value cannot be overstated. It's used in teaching sets, school exhibitions, and beginner kits across the UK. Educators appreciate it for its transitional context, as it opens discussions on coin design, metallurgy, and monarchic imagery. For young collectors, this is often the first coin where they can learn about changes in royal portraiture and the way the Royal Mint carefully evolves designs over time. When grading coins from 1997, collectors should pay special attention to the Queen's cheek, hairline, and the fine details of the diadem. These are the first areas to show wear and can make the difference between a fine and a very fine designation. Likewise, the feathers of the Prince of Wales's badge should retain their texture and the motto should be fully legible. Even though millions of 1997 2p coins were minted, their historical and emotional value far outweighs their numerical availability. This coin tells the story of a closing chapter in royal design, a final bow before a new aesthetic took the stage. It's this narrative power, combined with its timeless design and enduring utility, that keeps collectors returning to the 1997 issue time and again. So, Whether you're closing a portrait set, finishing a full 1990s decimal collection, or simply seeking a piece of numismatic closure, the 1997 Elizabeth to new Pence coin is an essential inclusion. It carries with it the grace of tradition, the weight of legacy, and the subtle thrill of finality. Coming up next, we leap into the post-Macklow era with the 1998 Elizabeth to new Pence coin, now featuring a brand new effigy and entering a bold new phase of British coinage.